Hello, hello.
Hello, happy Good Friday,
Yes,
everyone.
it's good. It's always a good Friday,
It's
right?
always a Good Friday, yes. We, as you see, are also color coordinated. It's totally unplanned. We were just talking about it three times in a row. So we'll see if it works out on Tuesday. Don't forget to join us on Tuesday to see if we are matching. Also,
Hi,
um,
Sally.
hi Sally. So good
Hello,
to have you
hello.
today. How
Welcome.
are
Hi,
you guys?
Byron. Thank
Hi,
you.
Darren.
Hi,
Yes, thank
June.
you for noticing. We are both wearing pink.
We are, we are.
Totally unplanned. We just looked at each other and we are like, okay, great.
So, is
So,
everybody ready for the weekend festivities? Hello, Lynn. Hello,
are
hello.
you guys baking anything? Anything fun? No, 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 no. You need to believe Sally, Sally. We this week we just said we haven't talked much this week because we
No, we
both
were
were
busy with different things.
quite busy with other things, so we haven't really seen each other, visited with each other.
Welcome, everybody. So, if Han was in the hot seat the last two lives, but if you want more about today, airbrushing, you could go back three lives. And in that live, I was talking about supplies and kind of just, more technical, what you could buy and stuff. And I do have a supply list in the coffee shop. That's free if you want to download it with clickable links. If you want to check that out.
And
Patricia's
the
making.
life that Marlon is following, your previous life, you were discussing the technical stuff regarding airbrushes. So you guys can check out that live. And we discussed all kinds of different things. Also, Marlene's favorite airbrushes, which ones she likes, why, and things like that. So you can check it out. And today she's also going to follow up with the topic of airbrushing. I'm super excited what
So
you
Amber
prepared for
or
us.
Kayleen, you were asking, she'll be there next week, next Friday. She's not here today. She's not with us all the time.
Oh, you
Relax,
were
Sally. Put your feet up. Okay, so let me get my camera on. So today, I want it here. I'm going to just start by showing you a little pre-recording I did. So I iced some cookies, and so here they are. There's 4 cookies. You can see a blue, a yellow, a white, and a pink. And that is, I'm airbrushing now, the yellow on top for you guys to see on top of colored icing. Airbrush is not completely opaque. It's kind of translucent. And so when you're airbrushing colors that don't marry well with other colors, sometimes it's not so nice. Here's a still of that, I just showed you. So at the top there, we can see the icing color, and I circled the white cookie. So the white cookie, you can see the airbrushing when it's the true color. But if you
Mm-hmm.
look, for example, on the pink cookie, the yellow is completely orange, which is what, when you make icing and you put pink and yellow, you're going to make orange icing. So you're getting the orange. And in the blue one, you're getting green, just like if you mixed yellow and blue food gel, you would get green icing. So here you can kind of see what happens when you airbrush on, just to give you a visual, the color that you're airbrushing onto matters as much as the color you're airbrushing with. Okay. What is Edna saying? She needs to practice. Yes,
Everybody's taking
practicing, I
something
mean, is
to
key.
answer. Perhaps practice. Somebody suggested to practice on coloring pages, which I think makes such a great. It makes sense. Such a great idea.
Yes. I mean, at the end of the day, some of you have said that you're scared of it. There's nothing to be scared of, really. It's not skydiving. You're in the house, you're safe, sit in a comfortable chair,
Yeah,
and you're okay.
that would be my yes. That would be. I always
But
dreamt of doing that though, skydiving.
but without actually doing it, you're never going to learn. So you're going to have
Exactly.
to.
You have to in order to get somewhere where you've never been, you have to do something that you've never done. So,
Exactly.
right?
And so, yeah, maybe it's not
So let me do
comfortable.
that
It's not
for you,
so
darling.
ideal.
Oh,
Is it this one?
this
What
one.
is it? Oh, there it is. Am I sounding weird?
No, you're sounding like yourself. Why? You think
Okay, I thought I was
I
getting
don't
all right, so this is a plaque
think
cookie, as you can see here. Let me just zoom in. And plaques are used often to do like a little monogram or type thing, okay? And when you're doing the monogram, often people will do a circle inside of the thing or another secondary shape. Well, you can go about that very quickly with an airbrush. You see here, I basically replicated the shape and shrank it a little bit. And you can see here, I've created a shield, and that's airbrushing can also be about protecting the initial icing color on your cookie, and then what's exposed is getting the color. So not like you're going to be saving with the shield a part of it. So here you can see this one is an inch smaller, so you're getting a half an inch around. And then this one here is slightly larger. So you can kind of decide which one you want to, you know, how much of the outside you want to use.
Your silhouette to cut these?
What? What did you say?
Silhouette? You use your silhouette
Yes,
to cut
yes.
these?
But you could cut it with, you know, with the scissors. Here is another version, so you can cut a monogram in it. So when you're airbrushing, well, you're automatically getting guidelines. Let's say you did want to pipe this, okay? So let's use this one. So I like to use magnets to hold my little stencil or shield in place, especially in the case of you know, little pieces like this. They're going to fly away when you're blowing on with the airbrush. It makes a little wind, you know, to push out the color. So I can't see the screen now, Han, if there's anything. So you're going to be my eyes.
You're perfectly centered.
All right, so let me try here with, I'm going to use green. I've got just a few colors with me here. Oh,
Are you using your wireless airbrush?
I am. This one has brown in it for some reason. Let me try this one now. So I said, okay,
June really likes the choice of the letter that, you know.
Oh, yes.
Very good.
So I wanted to use actually a letter that didn't have a little hole, like an A or a B, you know, they have that little hole in them.
Yes.
And so I'm just lightly misting from the top because I'm trying to avoid the overspray. And then I'm hitting the actual like cardstock and I'm outlining it so that, and I'm not shooting a lot of the color because I don't want this super wet, and you know, I'm just misting it, I'm blushing it. Okay, and if you blush, you're less likely as well to get a lot of pigment on your actual cookie. People tend to not, obviously, it's not pretty when you've got the cookie all mucked up with a lot of the pigment, okay? So if I take this off now, you see, you get automatically, now you can come in with icing and outline all that. We'll do that in a second. Let's just continue with the airbrushing so you guys can see. So another version here, I've got the smaller one. Now in this stencil here, can you see it's
Yes,
it's supposed to be like tulle or burlap, I think.
Claudia, we have links to the coffee shop running across the bottom of the screen, so you can see them there. Natalie says that her airbrush sat in the box for months before she tried it, and it's so much fun. Nothing to be scared of at all.
Exactly.
On a paper towel.
All right, so now this one, the holes are quite small. So when it's small like that, sometimes you have to get a little closer, but don't pull your trigger super like far so that it's like oversaturating. It gets very wet, you know, resist the urge to go quickly. Like you're better to slowly build your colors than to just dump it on. It gets very, very wet. So now when I lift this up, you can see the little detail, okay? And now I'm gonna put the magnets got stuck to each other. And so now I'm just actually going to blush around the little cardstock to get a little bit of a shadow around this. It's the same color. And then when I remove it, you're going to see you get the very nice kind of design around, but this is nice and pristine and white. If you wanted now, you could have the other part of your shield, save it, and then place it back, and then airbrush this part. You could do it in 2 steps, okay? And you can, if you want, you could rotate it like I've been doing, you know, you can have it like this instead. So the points.
Yeah, it does work even like this.
Yeah, so you can do all kinds of different combinations. So here, let's do it in pink this time. I'm using 3 colors.
Yeah. Can you move it? Well, we can see it. It's fine.
I'll move it in a second. There. All right, again. So you want to look from the top, double check, you know, say, okay, it's generally centered. And then the magnets or some bolts. You can go to the hardware store and get yourself some heavy bolts. Oh, you see it moved.
It moved a little. Yes, I did see it. It shifted a little bit.
So I'm just going to reposition it with my little boo-boo stick here. The wind, like this is just a small wireless one. The big Bertha like you have makes even a more powerful wind.
Very, very strong. I would have to make sure that I keep it down with a scribe. Candice is asking, where did you get the pink stencil holder?
That one is Stencil Genie, it's called. They do have a, this one, I mean, it's available pretty much everywhere if you look. The stencil holder. Callie also has a model that is more, you can kind of like make it into different sizes.
This one that I'm holding here, it's a different, it also has magnets. The whole idea that the magnets are keeping it in place, but because you see all these little sections, you can expand it more.
The other thing is I'm using cardstock. I don't recommend paper. Paper tends to curl a little bit. The cardstock, even airbrushed, you see it's dry and you can save them and reuse them. Like it doesn't always have to be plastic. If you're not really wetting, you know, like your stuff and it stays, you know, you don't have to always use plastic is my point. So now I'm just going to show you. I've got brown icing.
Reynaldo. Yes, Mary Jean also says the Cookie County has the Stencil Genie.
All right, so if you're piping, you can start at your corners and then the line becomes a guideline and you can hide the seam. So I did the shape of the plaque, but another shape that people struggle a lot with is circles. So you could do a perfect circle in the middle, you know, because that's really a shape that people struggle with. And then it's easier to outline it if you have this perfect guideline on the center of your cookie, if you do want to do a circle.
Is this a PME 1.5?
It is. So you see, I'm just letting the icing fall. If you're super close to the cookie, your line is more likely to get all kind of wonky. So there, I just let it fall. And now I'm going to outline my J. And if you wanted, this green icing could get hidden if you wanted to flood. You know, like it's up to you if you want to have this be icing, then you have your perfect guidelines and you can go as far as you want with the design. You can outline a second time and add little dots around it, or the thing is you're saving having to pipe the 2 colors. And then sometimes when you're piping 2 colors, well, you'll get like the seam won't be perfect and it makes it tougher to lay this type of a border. Like if it's all the same height because it's all the same icing, then you don't have to worry about like, you know, the icing's all perfectly level. So there, you see?
Beautiful. So Bridget, it's Sweet Sugar Bell. That's the brand name of the light green stencil holder that I was holding.
So if you find your lines, your perimeter lines are a little bit cloudy because of underspray, coming in and doing this little step really makes it more kind of like perfect looking, you see? But there wasn't too much underspray on that one. All right, so that's just to give you guys an idea with regards to shielding. So this is shielding and also a template, kind of to make a template, okay? So that's one thing for airbrushing. I had a video that I added here. Let me see. This is an older project that I did, and this is design is available, not in my shop. This is in the design store from Silhouette. And you see, I just airbrushed it, and then it becomes my guideline. And I don't use a projector. So you can see it essentially looks like what it would look like if I was using a projector, but I can actually move my cookie. When you're working with a projector, your cookie has to stay immobile and perfectly like in one spot. So sometimes you're not at the greatest angle for, you know, if you want.
Yeah, hello, Miriam. Oh, that's Miri, isn't it? Or no? I don't know. No, it's not Miri.
Yeah, I think it is Miri. Hi, Miri.
So,
So the other thing I wanted to discuss with you guys is fondant decoration. So fondant.
Can I interrupt you for a second, darling? So
Yes,
Kathy is asking, what do you think? And I think you do have Sweetest Tears stencil
I
holder.
do have it. Let me tell you, it maybe it is a little pricey, but I'll tell you the other one, the Stencil Genie, is very pricey too. If you look at the, like, it's just a little plastic thing and it's quite pricey. The other one is a thick, sturdy plastic, and it's a completely different system. It's for repeating. If you have to repeat a certain stenciling, well, it's a system so that you can repeat and not worry about a lot of stuff being on the stencil. Sometimes you're blind because the stencil has so much residue on it. Mm-hmm. Well, her system has it so that you know where to put the cookie so that when you close it, you're aligning instantly. So it's a completely different product. It's a little bit more of a workhorse so that you can work quickly. And it's like it's a thing that you lift and you spackle and you lift and you spackle and you can kind of produce. Whereas the other one, you're putting it, you're adjusting. There's a lot more fiddling. It's a different product. I do like it. It is a little bit pricier, but if you're working on hundreds, thousands of cookies, it'll go faster. All right, so this is the other thing I wanted to talk about is fondant decorations. So fondant decorations, couple of things if you are new to cookie decorating or to cake decorating or whatever. You can buy it already colored, but it's a little bit more expensive. If you don't use a lot, I like to just buy white. So when you've got the white, if you start kneading in food gel, it becomes sticky. The stickier it is, the harder it is to use with molds because the mold gets this sticky thing in it. But if you use white fondant and you press it in and then you let them dry, well, you can paint them. And then there's a lot less stickiness and moisture that goes in them. And I leave them white in my drawer. And then when I know I'm working on a project and I need them a certain color, well, you can just quickly airbrush them. So here, just to show you, I'm going to put a couple, and again, these fly around as well. A trick is you can add a little dot of royal icing under them and glue them onto an acetate, like a plastic, a mylar, and you don't have to wait for them to dry. And then they stop moving, and that little bit of icing doesn't impact them. And so here, I'm just going to hit from the top. Hopefully, they're not going to fly across the room. But you can just quickly airbrush them. And then if you want, you can actually add the pearl on them, or if you want them to be a little shinier, you can even, as you can see here with this one, I added purple to the center. This one here, I painted it yellow and added orange to the center. And then with a marker, I painted the middle in brown. So you can color them in whatever color you like to match your cookies. And I just find that it makes it a lot easier to make your decorations in advance. So that's one of the other things you can do with your airbrush. Any more questions?
Hello, Bobby, Bridget. It is Miri.
Yes, it's true. It's true, Maria. It is true. The thing is it depends, like for a word, yes. But let's say you have your stencil cut for like the guidelines of a critter. Well, it is what it is, right? You have your cutter and it is that size. So it I guess, yes, everything has its use in a certain application. So yes, I agree. Not ideal, especially if airbrushed. As soon as there's condensation on an airbrush surface, it's like you're reactivating the color and it can get sticky and wipe off and whatever. So Mary Jean, you're saying you love your Sweetest Tear stencil holder, I'm guessing. It is a very nice product. I have it. It's very nice. If you're making a lot of cookies, it's very useful.
So why don't we do cakes?
Why?
I sometimes still do some cakes, but we don't really do them during the live. Um, these lives, as you guys know, they are we do them. They're free of charge, I would say, free of charge. So doing cakes would probably be more expensive for us to do because buttercream, powdered sugar, lots of powdered sugar. It's not like so it would
and
just
it's in the room. It takes a lot more room, and it's
a lot of room, and lots of preparation goes into these free classes that we do.
And everybody has their specialty and the thing they like. We like this.
Yes.
At the end of the day, it's what we prefer.
How long can they sit in a drawer? The fondant, in regards to fondant decorations,
I think a pretty long time. Like if the thing is, if let's say your season's starting, for example, spring, you could make a big bunch of your flowers that you're going to be putting on potentially your Mother's Day cookies and stuff like that. I'd say easy 6 months.
I believe that is what Marlon is saying. It's best not to freeze airbrushed cookies. I've heard people have done it and they were, I guess, successful. But I agree with Marlon. It's a hit or miss because really,
if you have condensation,
the risk is high. I think yes.
Yeah, condensation like water is not ideal. Not ideal on.
How do you store the dry fondant decorations yourself? How do you store them?
Oh, when I just put them in little cupcake wrappers like I have here. And then I just have them in like a box. I have like a drawer full of different things. Mm-hmm. That's how I sort them. Like I have buttons, I have bows, I have flowers.
In an airtight box? Like not even an airtight.
No.
But you let them dry before.
I let them dry. I actually use a grease splatter thing. It's like a circle that you put on a frying pan so that the grease doesn't go everywhere. And so the air can get under them and dry them. So that's what I use to dry the fondant decorations. All right, so if you're wanting to try your airbrushing for the first time, one of the things you can do is flowers. Flowers are probably one of the nicest effects and the easiest. So this icing was actually colored with my airbrush color. And so that means I'm going to get a perfect match, okay? And so now I have the cookies there, and you don't have to wait for the surface icing to dry when you're airbrushing because you're not touching it. That's the other difference between painting with a paintbrush. And now I'm just hitting the center of the cookie, you see?
This is such a nice, like, raspberry color, no? It's like
it's called the Ciruela. It's all Spanish, those colors. It's my drip color. And so now I've had this sitting. Is the end clogged up? And then you can come in and just dot the middle.
You don't wait. Okay. If you were to maybe dip the centers in the sugar, would you wait for a little bit so the airbrush color dries?
Yes, I would.
But because it's still a little shiny.
Yes, it's still wet, but now it's just, I'm just showing the, like if you wanted, you could actually do this. And because on some cookies, what I do is just a icing, and then I'll come in and do, here, I'll do it just for demonstration on this one. I do a swirl on them. That makes a cute little flower medal too. If you don't have the sprinkles, you see? So that's just another option. But yes, so the point here is just to show you how quickly, so this is just a little blush in the middle. And if you look at actual flowers, many of them have these little blush kind of effects. If you have trouble going too heavy with your colors, you can try diluting it with alcohol so that the color is less intense, and it'll take you a little bit longer to build it. But in the beginning, when you're building your skills, you're not going to dump on a ton of color. The downside is that you can't freeze them. They're susceptible to getting smudged if wet. Sometimes if it's humid or things like that, when they eat the cookie, well, their mouth will activate the color, and so the color will maybe get on your lips. That's the negatives.
So are you answering this question? Is there a downside to coloring while icing with airbrush colors?
Oh, the coloring it. Sorry, I thought I read using it. No, it looks, it holds just as great as if you use gel. I like it when I'm doing light colors because I find the gel colors fast, you know, like you're there with your toothpick trying to pick it out so that you get the light color. But the airbrush is more diluted. And so if I know I'm doing a light color, I'll usually reach for my airbrush colors, and I get beautiful, beautiful colors using my airbrush colors to pigment my ice.
Kylie,
So
we usually run for about an hour. We start at 1 p.m. and we end at usually around 8 p.m. I'm sorry, that's my time, so it's 1 p.m. Eastern time. I am like, my week is like so. Yes, so we start at 1 p.m. Eastern time. That's in New York time, and we usually try to go for, depending on the project. Sometimes it's less. Yeah, I would say around 30 minutes and up to an hour, depending on what the project is.
Thank you, Claudia. We try. Airbrush, you can get one for $50, Kayleen, and make sure though that you get airbrush color, like the colors. There is something that I got, and I haven't tried it yet, so I'm not showing it today. It's a product that you can use.
We are talking about the airbrush. Which one is your favorite? Let me take off the comment.
It's the one that's at the, I have it. It's the one that's at the bottom right, but it has a black cup for the color, which I don't love, because when you put your airbrush in, I do like to be able to see, because, you know, like what color's in there. And when it's black, it's difficult to see. Like here, if I hold this, I'll take the picture off, Han.
Yes.
See, you can kind of see, oh, that's green, you see? Like I can grab it and know, oh, this is the one that has kind of pink in it, you see? But if it's a black cup, there's no, you have to put Post-its on your stuff to know what's what.
So do you also, you have done this,
Yes.
right? You have done
Yes.
this when you did, I believe you were doing watercolor. Am I correct? Watercolor with the alcohol?
Well, I wanted it very light. And sometimes even if you're really, you know, have a gentle touch, even if you're very good at control, the color is the color, and it comes in sometimes very dark. And I really wanted it a light blue. And so I diluted it. And so it was much lighter. And so that's a trick to have maybe the colors be less intense. I use Amerimist, and I'm using Drip Color today, which I really like. So I just showed you guys this, this flower. So this is another flower. Now, if you look at the difference between the two, the blush is on the outside on the big one, as opposed to being blushed on the inside. And you can see kind of the difference. And I'll bring in the other one without the blush.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. What a difference.
You see? And so I'm just going to show you, it's really a very small amount of detail, but it makes, I find, a very big difference on your design. So I'm just hitting right on the end of the petal. I'm barely pulling on the trigger, and I'm just hitting the end of the petal.
Hello, Joseph.
And I'm kind of a bit sideways, actually. I'm not right at the top. I'm kind of angled to the side.
I love this so much.
Let me.
Yeah, you're good. You're in the center. Beautiful.
You see, and when you have like lines that are up, like in this case, I piped the lines a little bit, kind of they're a little bit raised. So that kind of obstructs the color. So you want to be mindful of where those lines are because they'll stop the color from getting into like certain areas, if that makes sense. And the other thing you want to think about is in this particular case is you see here my stick. So you want to protect where you don't want airbrush color to go. So if you want your stick to remain nice and white and pristine, you want to protect it so that the color doesn't get there. So if you're scared of, thank you, Joanne, if you're scared of airbrushing, flowers are a great project to start. Here's a side version of that same design. And you can see you can do it quite quickly. And this amount of color is not really going to color up everybody's mouth. It's not like if it was a, you know, fully coated in, let's say, black airbrush.
Does it affect taste?
Not that I've ever noticed, no. So here they are, or here like this maybe.
Beautiful.
So you can see that. So this is mounted on a straw. All right, moving along.
And I'm not sure if I'm understanding you. You really don't want to use rubbing alcohol, if that's what you're asking.
Yes, like a vodka or a high-proof alcohol of some sort. Yes.
Like grain alcohol, we often refer to Everclear.
Stuff that's made for human
At
consumption.
one point, I think Bacardi was also making a high content alcohol, but I think they stopped. But yeah, not the rubbing alcohol or whatever. No, you don't want to use that with.
So this is a flower bouquet, like for like a wedding or whatever. You could use it to make a tree, obviously. So you can have it just be green, but if you want to add a little bit of background to it, you see after when you're adding your little elements, well, it adds a little bit to the overall kind of thing.
And how thick are your cookies?
How thick are the cookies? They're a 1/4 inch. I use the Dough Easy rolling system to roll my cookies, so then I get a consistent thickness. So here is a stencil. This is actually a 2-layer stencil. I'm not using the second layer, but you can see there's like a little flower. See it? Mm-hmm. So that's a second layer. And so I'm just going to quickly add the green. And I'm not even using a holder. Here you can see this one, it's barely visible, but just to show you, you see nice. It doesn't always have to be a super big contrasting difference. It's less visible on camera there, but sometimes.
Piping guide, sorry to interrupt. You could also use it as a piping guide and pipe the leaves with icing if you wanted to, no?
Yeah, use it as a guide, yes. So there, so now you have kind of like a background. And when you come in and add your icing, so you can kind of add some stems, it just complements like icing elements, you know? So here I'll have
so nice for like Mother's Day. If like you could make like a flower bouquet and using your fondant decorations.
Yeah, then you can kind of alternate your colors if you want. You see here, some of them are painted. Whoops! Some of them can stay white. but it's like a quick, and then if your decorations are made in advance, your little fondant things, well, it goes that much faster to decorate, right? Just like the bows can be made in advance, these little kind of tips, like little things, because like flowers take forever to make, right?
Beautiful.
Especially if you want to add a lot. Let's say you're planning a wedding or something, you want to try to get as many things as you can done in advance. But here you can see, just adds a nice little background to your flower. So
Now
that's
that we are looking at the cutter, we do have several questions here, so let me just go through them. Oh, Joanne, so my request for okay. My request for Everclear gave my son lots of laughs, but we are very happy about that. I guess it did work like you said. I'm happy to hear that. Do you know what the cutter? What's the
that's
brand?
Anne Clark.
And Clark. Okay, so Emily, yes, Soaked by Sugar Pearls, maybe yes. So I believe it was
Where are you located?
I'm in Europe now. Let me grab them. I think it
Yeah,
was
Emily, because I found when I went to London, Dr. Utker had a soft bite,
yes.
but I never found a soft bite here in North America. So that's a tricky product to find locally.
Yes, they are Dr. Edgar. I think you could possibly look on Amazon, but I'm not 100% sure. They are Dr.
They are Dr. Utker. Yeah, Dr. Utker,
This
for
is
whatever reason, don't sell,
this is
like, I've never seen it locally here. They sell certain products,
yes,
but not that.
they are soft bite. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. One thing, they are not completely uniform in size. I wouldn't say
Agree,
they're
yes.
all like, let's say 5 mil. They are, some of them are actually 4 mil. I can see, but it does not bother me at all. But yes, they're Dr. Edgar. So um, you use fondant on your cookies?
So Cheyenne, I don't always. The thing that we do is we are teaching and we want to show you guys all your options and stuff. So I don't always use fondant. I'm showing you that it's an option. If maybe you're not, the thing is if you're making fondant decorations, you could, let's say, have your friends over and have a night where everybody's making fondant bits for, let's say, a wedding or something like that. You don't need skilled labor to do it. You're just pushing Play-Doh into a mold, basically. So it's an option sometimes if you need stuff to go fast. It's an option. It's just putting it out there. You can make them out of royal icing if you want, but it's just another thing in your toolkit. I'm not sure, Mary Jean, to be frank. I don't know. You have to Google and look. Look, maybe bouquet. I wouldn't be surprised it's under wedding stuff.
So this
You
looks
have to
like
check your passport status, I guess. So here is a horse
like
head.
a horse. Okay.
And I blushed here in the green, but it was kind of pointless. And if you look, I don't know if you can see it. I used
parchment thing.
Yeah, I used textured parchment, but it didn't really give me the nice effect that I wanted. So anyway, I'm gonna use a stencil now. So now I'm just adding a little bit of brown around the edge just to kind of give it a more weathered look. I want it to look a little bit more rustic, I guess. And I'm gonna hit the bottom.
I see the texture on it. Now that you're hitting it with the airbrush, it's getting into
it brings it out a bit.
It moves a little bit. So
one of my favorite all-time though stencils for airbrush is a wood.
Oh, is it wood grain? Oh, really? I don't think I even have. I don't know if I have a wood grain. I don't know. I have to look.
It's the fastest way, and I find it always gives a nice look. Oh, yeah. And you get the wood instantly. Oh, let's take a 2-second pause and I'll show you guys a video. I put it together from a previous live last year, I think. So this is another airbrush option. So character cookies, some people are team no, but if you have to replicate a character, an airbrush is a great way to do that. So I use my silhouette and I basically cut out color by color. So this is the pink shield. And so I'm adding the mouth, nose, her bow, all that stuff. And then you see I'm only openings is what's getting the pink color. And then this is a shield to protect the blue sky and the green grass. And now I'm shading the critter because she's white. So I'm just adding a little bit of gray to make her look a little bit more interesting since it's just white. And then if you're not so good at piping, I'm outlining her in marker. And you can see I have a paper towel there to rest my hand because it's really doesn't take a lot to smudge your surface. And so I'm protecting it if, let's say, my hand was slightly wet or whatever, just to protect it. So I have my paper towel underneath my hand just to thank you, Mary Jean, just to keep it, pristine. And you can outline it. And that's a rainbow dust, a marker, and you can see
So
there.
cute.
And what did you say?
So cute.
She was so cute. Yeah, that's from a previous live. It was last year sometime, if I recall. All right. Oh, you made that one, June? Yeah, I remember now. So many cookies. So many cookies. All right. So now I'm just going to show you guys where is, I switched out my piping tip.
You have it?
I have it. I have it. So now we've got kind of like, what's our time? I have a couple of minutes. So
We have a couple of minutes.
The last of them today. So you guys have got some ideas for your future projects. If you've been scared of your airbrush, it's your friend. Like the plaques, it makes really the plaques so much faster. Nice little detail on your flower cookies. All right, now here is my horse. I'm adding the harness.
Oh yeah, you're using a small ribbon piping tip. That's so clever. So clever. It's a perfect tip for this.
It is. It works perfectly. And then the next thing that I have that I really like is the sequins. And I find that the sequins work so well for like little details such as, now I don't have my tweezers. I'm going to go in with my hands, but like things like little grommets, like little details. It's not necessarily like pretty.
Perfect.
Yeah.
You could, I mean, if you don't have these are probably the Wilton ones, right? If you don't have these, you could make them using a stencil, small polka dot stencil, and then airbrush it gold. But if you have these sprinkles, they come in handy. Really, really, such a great.
And now I'm adding. So this is not. I'm doing a different kind of a look here with my horse. It's actually inspired by a wreath I saw. A horse wreath for the front door. So there's a little branch.
Sorry to interrupt. So Marianne, so I guess the cutter that Marlon used that looked like a tree or could be a bouquet, I guess they have it listed as a Mother's Day bouquet cutter.
Oh.
So if anyone was interested.
Thank you.
What piping, what was the number?
For the strap?
Yeah.
I'll look at it in 1 second. So you can see here, I'm just adding this kind of like little branch type thing, and I'm curving it towards the top. And so it's basically her, or its mane. And I'm just going for something a little bit more beautiful, organic. Like, I mean, we've seen the horse done as a horse many times. So this is just something a little different.
Sally is asking, like, is that what you will use in a vintage dress, the sequin?
Yes, that's right. That is correct. They come in 2 sizes. So on the dress, I think I used a bigger one for her buckle, if I recall.
Do you know where you got the horse cutter?
The horse cutter, ooh, I've had it for a very long time. I think it might be an Anne Clark as well. Not sure though. If you look if you look it up, I'm sure you're going to get a ton of choices and you can pick kind of the one you prefer. So here, let me just show you the finished kind of version. Here it is.
Isn't that beautiful? It's like a wedding hall, almost like a, like if there is
I was thinking, like, that there's an event, a horse race, the Derby or something. People do sometimes the hats,
yes,
cookies and stuff. It's a different, and it could be,
it's Kentucky Derby, right?
yeah, or a country wedding or whatever. So I'm waiting. The thing is now, and I don't have another cookie, is I did add in a different shade of green, just some lines, which then I coated in white nonpareil, but I don't want those white nonpareil to stick to this light green. And so that's why I'm not doing it, because I don't want to have that everywhere.
Yes,
I have
but
one
the
here.
white nonpareils really add, the filler that often a lot of bouquets have, the dry filler,
I do have one here.
white flowers, so it really adds that effect. Beautiful.
Here, let me move this. I've got, you guys can't see, but my workstation right now looks
We're
like.
not even aware of it. So apparently there are commercials in the middle of the lives now where we're able to get some sponsorships. No, we don't even know about the commercials. It must be I guess you're watching on Facebook. It must be Facebook inserting those and getting the full.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so I'm doing basically just lines here, and you don't want to do too many just because it's really not long that it doesn't stick anymore.
Yes, Gail, that's what I was thinking. Yes, baby's breath. Yes, that's the filler that's often used. I think it's in a dry form, often used in bouquets and stuff. Cheyenne, so how long would royalizing flowers last? As long as fondant? Store the same way? Well, I'll answer this while Marlon is working. So royalizing decorations, they will last pretty much indefinitely unless you expose them to direct moisture, like you drop bucket of water on it, or you leave it out in a direct sunlight, then they will fade and water will obviously dissolve the sugar. So I myself store them in an airtight container. I have like a big box that has dividers. So I have them stored there. There is a piece of paper towel on the bottom, and I just store them, in a dark room or dark drawer somewhere that they don't have access to. There's no direct light or moisture. And oftentimes I will add, if I remember, if I can remember, I add a little bit of raw rice, or I actually prefer food grade silica gel packets, in case there is some excess moisture, not by me, but like just by the climate that I'm in. It will absorb that and help with maintaining them crisp and sharp. So
I'm just adding some little royalizing flowers that I had made before.
this apparently Marianne said it's available on Amazon. I'm pretty sure you probably have it. Marlene also has her Amazon shop, so you can, if you guys wanted to check it out, we also get a small commission from all the Amazon purchases. So if you look up Montreal Confections Amazon, Marlene's shop will come up, and she has all her tools and her favorite airbrushes and other things listed there. So
I don't think I did add the horse head though. Okay, so now I'm using the strap is 44, and now for the leaves, this is a tiny leaf tip. It's a PME ST 50 ST50.
yes,
And
that's what I have that one too.
I'm adding some very small leaves
Perfect.
to the flowers.
I'm loving it. And a small rosette, what did you use? Like number 14 or 15?
Oh yeah, and I've made them a while ago. I had them. I don't even remember, to be honest, but small. But you can see that it's just a different kind of, I had not seen this done like this on a horse cutter, But because it dried with the parchment paper, it looks a lot more like wood than if you iced it and left it, And the airbrushing, you can see the airbrushing really does add to the look of it, to the whole kind of like rustic effect. So here, let me try to bring in some of the projects today.
You wanna maybe zoom out a little bit? So today Marlene was sharing us all her different stenciling technique that she likes to use when she's decorating cookies. And if you are new to the live today, you can watch kind of like a beginner introduction to airbrushing in a previous live where we discussed all of the technical issues that come up with the airbrushing. And look at these beauties. So we did 2 different flowers, a flower bouquet. We did a monogram cookie using a different like shielding methods that Marlene showed us, using cardstock and the beautiful horse head. And also there are lots of fondant decorations. And the little rosettes are royal icing, right?
Yeah, the pink rosettes are royal icing.
Yeah.
Yes, I did, Gail, texture the parchment paper. I did do it myself. I did do that. But I didn't find that it gave a really clear wood look, so I decided to airbrush on top.
Oh, thank you. Well, there's always next time. I'm sure.
Yes, there's always a next time. The holidays, the birthdays, they come back and come back and come back. So you always get another chance to redo or try
Maybe
something
you
else.
can
And sometimes,
give cookies to someone who is
yeah, the just because cookies.
Yeah, your postman or postwoman or somebody, just because. Yes, sometimes it's nice.
So Mary Jean, the cookies with, thank you, June. The cookies with a hole, not the cookies, but the monograms with a hole. So if you know how to make stencils, you're going to have to put bridges in your letter to hold the hole in position, okay? If you understand what I'm saying, if you've looked at letter stencils, if you look at the A, the B, all those P, O, all of them have a bridge to hold that center thing. But if you just want a general perimeter, well, you can just do, like leave the hole, leave it, like leave it in. And then you kind of guess. If you're piping on top, you can guess where the hole should go. So that's entirely up to you, How do you texture?
Texture parchment.
Well, that's a paper craft technique. So if you look at paper crafts and card making, there are embossing folders, they're called, which are basically like when we do the rolling mats that put texture on dough. Well, they come in sandwich paper and press in a design. I'll maybe next month. This month I wanted to do airbrushing.
Do you remember you have done a tutorial on it? You don't remember? You have done a tutorial on how to do the textured parchment. Do you remember?
I did.
Yes, you did, darling. Yes. That's why I'm like, yes, there has been a tutorial on how to make textured parchment, Marlon. I don't know when that was, though, unfortunately. So you can always rewatch our lives, guys. I think for a lot of you, it's probably easier to go on YouTube if you are not on Facebook, but also on Facebook there is a there is a tab that says live videos, and it includes all of the videos that we did over the past 2 years. So you can see them there. And also same thing is on YouTube. Although on YouTube you don't have to be logged in. So if you don't have a Facebook account, YouTube is another way. And
yes,
always,
exactly.
always, and as always, you can support us and our lives by buying us coffee, or in my case, lemon in our coffee shops, which also helps to kind of with all the supplies and tools that we need to do all of these free classes for you guys. So Gail is asking us, I guess this is in regards to a class, mini class. Am I right? Or am I right? Mini class.
Well, Gail, if you're meaning are you talking about this particular thing, or are you talking about the group? The group, there's so many different projects that you can pick the one that you feel comfortable with, because there's a very wide spectrum of projects. So you can kind of watch the video and decide, oh yes, but if we can take a page out of Sally's book, she just tries and tries, and the more you try, the prettier your cookies get.
Yes.
So that's it. It's just
yes,
actually,
if you are not, if you, like, let's say, I'm gonna say, if you don't fail, you're not trying.
Yeah.
You have to, you have to, what's his name? Edison. He conducted thousands, I think 1,000 experiments, and 1,000 first experiment was the light bulb. So imagine. So you have to experiment and just don't be afraid of failure. So June is making silk stencils right now. Emily is wishing us happy Easter. Happy Easter to
You too,
you.
Emily. Everybody, all of you, happy
Yes,
Easter.
of course. To do multicolor, then you'd have to make 2 different stencils, Kathy.
That is correct. That is correct. So you're doing your cutting. Like if we look at Marie once again, you see, so she's protecting this piece is protecting the surface of the cookie, the white. So now I'm able to come in and add the blue sky and the green grass. It's protected. This is a shield. And then when I remove the shield, now I'm adding the pink stencil. And then I'll add, you don't see it, but there's, let's say, the blue eyes. And yes, you have to have a stencil for each color. So you're protecting everything else because the airbrush comes out like a little cloud and it's hard to direct that in a very specific spot. So with the shields and the stencils, that's how you're able to pinpoint certain areas and add the color only there.
Okay, so let's touch up on this. So we do have, both of us have a cookie school, let's say, call it, on a platform called Patreon. If I can find, so this is Marlene's Patreon. It's basically patreon.com/Montreal Confections. Then this is my Patreon, same thing for Haniela's. That's also where we share different exclusive materials, templates, and things like that. Marlene also has a cookie school on Facebook.
But Patreon is better because Facebook is fine. It's just I can't load certain documents in there. They don't allow it. So Patreon, I can actually like put the PNG, put the silhouette files. I can put everything in there. Patreon is more friendly for that. If you guys want the templates, want all that, hands the same. It's a lot easier to add the templates and for you to download them.
For a lot of you, if you like, let's say you don't want to be a subscriber on Patreon, it's a monthly commitment.
Obligation, yeah.
So we also have
the coffee shop.
Coffee shop. It's called Coffee Shop, not a coffee where they sell coffee, but it's called because you can buy us virtual kind of coffee by either directly giving us kind of a donation or whatever they call it there, or you can buy different templates and we earn a commission from the sale.
So my Patreon starts at $5 a month US, and then it goes up, like the highest is 15. And the difference is access to past years. So I have since like 2015 content. So if you're at the $5 level, it's like for the current year, and then 7, it's like for another, I don't remember off the top of my head. And then the $15 a month is everything. So that's the differences in price. You want, not today, Kathy, we're not talking about silk screen. I'll look at that on Tuesday. Tuesday, we can talk about a little bit of silk screen stencils, but I've got a completely different project going on Tuesday, the 26th.
Bring up the schedule. This is for the April. We are still in April. So on right after Easter, on April 19th, Marlene is going to be here. And like she just said, she'll be talking about other airbrushing techniques and tools. And on Friday, Amber of Sweet M's is joining us. And then I will be using, on 26th, as promised, I will be using a medium that creates kind of like a velvet texture on your cookies. And then on 29th, we have Marlene's class coming up, mini class. This is a live class during the live stream. And those of you who haven't seen our previous mini classes, you can also find those in the playlist among all the live streams we did. I did one last month where we did a little gingerbread house, and Marlene did one prior to that in end of February. And all the details for this class are included in our Patreon groups. And you can join us actually live and you can decorate with us live. So just keep that in mind. And I think
you want to zoom in?
No, I wanted my
thanks, everybody.
I wanted my spot on the screen. This is my spot.
You want your spot?
Like a side of the bed.
Like a side of the bed. Okay.
Okay,
well, thanks everybody for joining us.
Happy Easter. I hope you have a wonderful time. Hopefully the weather is going to cooperate and you can get outside and have some fun and get some fresh air in and just rejuvenate. So we'll see you on Tuesday.
Bye, everybody. Bye.